Hello and happy Friday, everybody. Let's kick off the racing weekend right now. Little matinee action here on the VOR IndyCar DW12 ICONIC Series. Hello again. I am Gary Gotza. Welcome to RaceVerse coverage of round 4 of season 2 of the VOR IndyCar DW12 ICONIC Series. As we come to you today from an unlikely place to see IndyCars running on the oval at Daytona. Joining me just as much in awe as I am in the booth is Kyle Clinsworth, and he's had a busy day. I've had a busy day. We're both trying to just decompress now as we settle into our broadcasting booth seats here to watch these cars smoke around this 2.5 mile oval that was not purpose built for these machines at all.
Doesn't mean they can't go fast here, Gary. Welcome to the World Center of Racing, Daytona!
There, you heard it from him.
Hope that's not a copyright strike.
No. No. And we are starting to line up. Let's get the starting lineup in here. Let's get... again, just scrambling. You've moved this week. I have the HVAC guy here that's looking at why my air conditioner was leaking, and we found out why, so that was easy to fix. But yeah, this has all been happening.
Dog's fault?
What's that?
Was it the fault from the new dog?
No, it wasn't the dog. Yeah, no, it was they didn't aim the drain. They didn't aim the condensate pipe over the drain entirely. So I was getting little droplets. Yeah, that will do it. So let's get today's starting lineup in. If I can cue up the music, and we have a long pace lap here, so we got plenty of time. First, we need sound. We need sound, people. We don't have the production truck handling us for me. There we go. Drums, please. And let's take a look at today's starting grid. Let's get all this other graphics off. Boom, there it is. Starting grid. Seb Kender on the pole, 234.134 miles per hour. Cody Meadows, you mentioned him on the getting in there in the front row, 234.129. Shows the margin between his pole speed or his front row speed and Sebastian Kinder's pole speed at 0.001 in terms of time. And then if you look at Liam O'Sullivan lined up third, 0.02 in terms of time. This is how close we are. Dave Stedman fourth, the silent assassin. He was fast in practice. Alexander Bonney in fifth. John Christensen sixth. Julian Altena, he comes in seventh. Fordor Doshenko, P8, Salvazzi, P9, Strauss in 10th. And again, it doesn't really matter where you start in this race because you are all going to be the great equalizer of the draft. Long as you stay in the draft, you're good to go. Josh Tucker, 11th, Dan Inch, 12th, John Ha, 13th, Jonas Weber in 14th, Bill Colley, 15th, and we have some others that did not take a qualification attempt, I believe, and they're just not going to show up on my overlay. And we will get them drawn in here.
Piguero and Layson Furness.
Yeah, Piguero and Furness will be the two on the tail end of the field here.
I believe Furness is starting from the pits or is having connection issues. He is just disconnected, so...
starting from the pits is not a bad idea. You'll lose the draft, but if there's a big one, you're going to be out of it. As the pace car is bringing this field through Daytona turn 3 and 4, getting ready to start this race off.
Now, right here, I believe will be the trouble spot on cold tires. In my practice sessions, it felt like the left sides really wanted to hug the paint and pull the car to the apron here on cold tires. So watch for turns 3 and 4 to be a trouble spot on lap 1.
And we will be here tomorrow with the IR18s. So that will be an interesting one. We'll hopefully see maybe even see a new world record set in terms of a timed race lap speed here. Here we go. Seb's bringing them down slow. Everybody doing a little bit of jerking in the background because those tire spins, they're hard on the accelerator. Green here at Daytona. IndyCars back at Daytona.
First time since '59.
And we will talk about that. And the best way around here is the IRL line on the bottom. But Dave Stedman going to pop out high, going to take a look on the high side of Meadows. Following him through is Bonnie. Kinder's still the leader going into 3. O'Sullivan tucked in behind him. Stedman up high, trying to get that second line to work. Here comes four-door Dorshinko in that yellow, or excuse me, that green car. He kisses the wall. That's going to slow him up a little bit. Second line not coming in. Bottom line still the way to go.
Two by two for 3 rows after third.
And there's a bit of a second group developing back there, as giving everybody some room. That's Pagero, Inch, and Colley, excuse me.
The gateway winner, Bill Colley.
Second line, teammates lining up on the top behind the Shinko.
To the lead they go.
There they go, and we drop down the silent assassin, Dave Stedman, to the lead. The Shinko follows him through to the bottom. They are now your leaders, 3 of 90 in the books. And the Ryder eSport cars all lining up on the top side. Julian going to the back. He said, I've had enough of that up front. And there's a new entrant, John Hall there. He is in Dixon, former Dixon livery. When Dixon in the DW12, when Dixon drove that. I believe that's the car he sliced in half at Indianapolis.
Did he have a like a welding torch or what? What happened? I'm unfamiliar.
Do you remember the wreck he had at Indianapolis in it would have been 17, so it was I think the last year with these cars, and he
Kinder hit the apron there.
Yeah. Oh, Kinder hit the apron.
He saved it.
He saved
lost
it back.
A bunch of time though. An excellent job not losing control of that car. Another fight for the lead here.
So if you remember back in the 2017 Indy 500, Jay Howard smacked the wall. And he rebounded off the wall and came right into Scotty Dixon. This is on the north end or the south end of the racetrack, so turns 1 and 2 in the short chute. It shot Dixon's car into the air, and he came down on the inside retaining wall and sliced that car in half. And he got up and walked away.
Incredible. Yeah, I do not recall. So thank you for the lore.
That was the Takuma Sato getting his first Indy 500 win. With a number, with right behind him, Castro Neves with a number of second place finishes that Castro Neves has to his name. He could very easily be a 5 or 6 time Indy 500 champion if he didn't get all those second place finishes. Then again, also AJ Foyt could be in the same boat as well. AJ Foyt had a number of second place finishes. Tom Sneva had a number of second place finishes. He could be a multi-time Indy 500 winner as well. There you see in the back, Julian doing a little swap drafting with Pagero. Pagero in the Adrian Fernandez throwback. I like it. I like it. Of course, this whenever Daytona week is for NASCAR, who is the Mexican driver there? Daniel Suarez?
Daniel Suarez.
Yeah, he is actually going to be doing one of my pet peeves is I hate seeing NASCAR liveries on Indy cars, but he is going to do an IndyCar livery on a NASCAR as they will be honoring Adrian Fernandez at Darlington. I think that's awesome. Adrian Fernandez, a multi-time winner in the IndyCar series, also in karts. Very consistent racers. Probably one of the best racers to come out of Mexico to come into IndyCar this side of Pato.
Yeah, I was going to say Pato Award is currently challenging that. And the race that Daniel Suarez won earlier this year is probably going to look very similar to the finish we're having today, as Joshua Tucker refuses to get off of the quarter pounder of Dave Stedman, and they've been side by side for the lead for a handful of laps here. The setup is racing very, very closely. Everybody's giving enough space to be mindful of one another. Nobody's made an overly aggressive move, and they've all given space when there have been moments. I'm very proud of the field so far. They've done a very good job navigating what can be very treacherous racetrack.
Yeah, a lot of cars having issues holding their line, though. They got to really hold their line here. Daytona looks a lot wider than it really is. This is very narrow compared to, say, a place like Talladega, or even another place that these guys are more familiar with, a Michigan or a Fontana. Is very wide. This could be pretty narrow. Really, these cars are only going to be 2 wide in the corners. You can go 3 wide unless you're really want to welcome on a wreck.
Yeah, the backstretch and the backstretch definitely, probably 3 cars will fit very easily. In the corners, 3 is asking for disaster unless everyone's exactly locked in. And the tri-oval has the same issue as the corners. Due to the safer barrier, you lose almost half a lane and it wraps around the entire track. Before the safer barrier was installed at Daytona, I think you'd have no problem having cars 3 abreast all the way around. But the real-life drivers need it, and this is a simulation, so it's going to stay on the iRacing scan.
So we're thinking 3 stops here, right? Is that what we're thinking?
Absolutely.
So we're 90. So it's going to be actually 3 stops, 4 stints.
Yep,
we're not that far away from our first pit stops happening, guys.
Well, I think you're probably going to want to stop around lap 21 to 23.
Okay.
For the first stint. That's what my math shows. 21 is when the window opens. If you want to cut it perfectly into quarters with the fuel in the car, you're going to want to pit on lap 21, lap 44, and lap 67. But you shouldn't lose a lap here. But the brakes are very weak. So getting onto pit road and into your pit box without a mistake is going to be where you can hemorrhage a ton of time. Doing that cleanly may decide the race.
Camera on Jonas Weber. He has set the purple lap. We'll get you a translation for that here in a moment. He set a 37.9. That is going to be
fast.
A 2:35.247. That's about what you're going to see him probably peak at for qualifications this year for the 500 here at Indianapolis. Now that 2:35 will probably be the fastest we see. 2:35 here in the DW12s. These things have massive drag and poke a huge hole in the air. So he obviously, that was draft aided, of course, but a big run there for Weber. Purple lap currently in P6. As we are now starting to get strung out a little bit. And I would imagine if we stay green and we get to that first stop, we will really string things out. Historically, VOR has had pretty good luck here at Daytona. There was a race a few seasons ago, and I was actually a participant in it, and we went caution-free and actually, believe it or not, turned into a fuel mileage race.
I don't think fuel mileage is on the table today if we go green. You'd have to stretch 6 extra laps or more out of the car and have a buddy helping you do that to cut the air for you, who's going to be getting worse mileage than you are, and they won't be able to part the air for you out of the way for you to get that good type of long economy run.
Right, and I will say those guys that have teammates in this race, it's going to be heavily planned, especially if we get a green flag stop. And we are about 5 laps away from earliest green flag stops possibly happening. So these Rider eSports guys, they'll probably all want to stop at once. The VOR team will probably want to stop all at once. And those are really the big teams now. Unless some of these guys are palled up with others pre-race and says, hey, I'll work with you. Otherwise, they're going to have to make a deal unspoken here on the racetrack and pit with somebody that they may or may not really have spoken to before about making a cooperative deal here. But Stedman the leader, Dashiko P2, Sullivan P3. We've really settled down into a bit of a a train race here. Not been very exciting for the last 6 laps or so. When that second line started to go away, everyone down to the bottom. Tucker in 4th, Meadows 5th, Weber 6th, Bonnie back in 7th, Kinder 8th, Strauss in 9th, Salvazzi 10. That is your top 10. Points leader Julian Altena, he is back there in 13th. Speaking of the points, let's take a look at those really, really quick while we have an opportunity. Here are the drivers' points, bringing them up on screen. Julian is your leader by 3 over Edson Santos. Santos not in the lineup, so this is going to be an opportunity for Liam O'Sullivan to eat into Santos' lead here over him in P2. John Christensen 4th, Bill Colley 5th, Bonnie 6th, Jesper Orman not in today's lineup 7th. Leighton Furness, unfortunately, was having connection issues. It says in chat there. He is 8th. Dan Lynch is 9th. And Cody Meadows is 10th. That is your top 10. There's your full field rundown for the drivers' points.
Now, the points leader may be running right now in the back of the pack, but he and Dan Lynch are working together, and they have cut tenths of a second off every lap here. They've been about 3/10 of a second faster than the main group by swap drafting. So they're not going to need to pit on their own agenda. They'll be able to pit with their teammates and not lose too much time.
And let's bring up the race header, the race information. Here you go. Weather information. And 90 laps, 225 miles here. Daytona. And give you a weather update on the screen. 126 degrees track temperature. This was like Indianapolis quals last night in the ERL. Oh, that was brutal. They had 131. I think I saw at one point 131 was the track temperature when they were trying to qualify.
That's about as hot as it was here when I moved in. It was a 98-degree scorcher on Monday when I made the drive cross country.
I told you I've done that drive. I hate that drive.
Yeah, everything after Ohio is just
absolutely
crazy.
So my mom's side of the family, they're all from New England, Vermont specifically. In fact, my aunt and uncle aren't very far from New Hampshire Motor Speedway out there in the Loudon. They're probably about a maybe 20-minute drive at most, but they every summer as a child getting piled into, and then giving away my age here, piled into the old station wagon and driving out there across Ohio. Ohio is a lot longer state than you believe until you drive across it, and you're like, man, this state's forever.
Oh, it is a wide baby. It and Pennsylvania both.
And that Pennsylvania, yeah. If you drive along the long portion of Pennsylvania, we did the short portion that just went up through Erie, and then you did the whole long portion of Julian blinking out and car coming apart. He'll snap back together. There you go. Dan Inch, we'll look at him here for a moment. New York State Thruway takes forever, and it just when you're in your car with that much family, and not so much my mom and dad, but I just remember just hating it being with my little sister. Just those, and then my parents are always like, why do you want to fly everywhere? I have no idea. Why do I want to fly anywhere?
You made me this way.
You made me this way. You created this monster.
A little bit of shuffling here in the middle of the lead pack as Jonas Weber gets around Alexander Bonnie.
Yeah, Bonnie is Weber. They got a bit of a second group here, so they're in danger. And let's look at intervals between everybody. So the key number here between Meadows and Weber is really going to be about 8/10. That's about when the draft really peters out for these cars. Now he's pulling back up here a little bit. Weber's now 3/10, and he's still within that draft window. But if you fall out of 8/10, you're really out of the draft envelope for these cars, which is unlike the DW or the IR18s. The 18s is the draft window is about a second and a half, and it really should be that way, if not more. These cars, but for whatever reason, when the iRacing was coding these cars, decided 8/10 would be the draft envelope, which isn't really accurately correct. So,
well, Altena and Ench have executed their plan to perfection. They are now on the tail end of this lead pack. There's no more slack in the chain.
And we should be expecting first pit stops here. Help us keep all this good, positive momentum, folks. If you enjoy RaceVerse coverage of the VOR IndyCar DW12 ICONIC Series or respect the stream, please do us a solid. Make sure you support us by subscribing while you're at it. Don't forget to smash like and click the bell so you don't miss out on future RaceVerse iRacing broadcasting. And here we come to lap 25. Got about a three-car breakaway at front. Stedman, Doshinko, and Sullivan. Who is coming to pit road this time by? I don't think anybody is.
No takers yet. I mean, you could go a little longer. The longer you go, the less fuel you'll need on the final stop.
Short fill.
But it looks like Stedman has signaled to the field he is pitting this lap.
And there's a bit of a gap between him and O'Sullivan. 5/10. That's an eternity here. And when we're talking draft racing, pack racing here at Daytona. And here comes Stedman. Now, Stedman's going to have to worry about bringing this car down extremely quick. Last lap, 2:32.5. And he's got these little tiny brake discs. He does a little of a squirm coming down. Needs to bring the car under control. There he goes. I think he gets down to the line. This you might have to look and see on the info tab what the pit road speed limit is. I think it's
it is 60. He
60.
got down just fine.
Okay.
No drama there. No fanfare. Dave did it perfectly. Now, getting out of pit road is also difficult.
Yes, and we will watch him right here on pit road.
And a handful of others signaling that they're pitting. Peguero, Ench, among others.
And very easily, and then the apron, you got to go all the way around to the backstretch before you can get back on, and he's going to come around and get back on the backstretch before anybody else is going to catch him here, but he needs to keep that car. We're going on the wide shot right here to see if anyone pops in, but he's got to keep that car under control because the low power band on here definitely want to make those real wheels spin, and we'll lose control. So it looks like he's safely back up to speed. Sullivan, Tucker now the leader. O'Sullivan P2. Any takers on pit road? Yeah, Inch and Peguero on pit road. Inch and Peguero.
And then a whole host
Inch missed his spot.
Little breaks.
And he backed up too much and he missed it again. So Peguero's going to get around him. But problem is with Peguero, he doesn't have a dance partner now. And so he might have had a dance partner going in, but he lost it coming out because Inch had issues getting to his stall.
I'm sure there will be
Julian on pit road. Tucker on pit road. Ha on pit road. Collie on pit road.
O'Sullivan's in this lap.
O'Sullivan with another rider eSport entry with Strauss coming with him. So he will have a partner. Problem is they're pretty well separated on pit road. So even if O'Sullivan gets out, he still needs to wait for Strauss.
I mean, it's entirely possible that Strauss does not take tires, and O'Sullivan
Strauss missed his marks.
So did O'Sullivan. They both had very poorly executed pit stops.
That's what practice is for, boys. You should be doing that, and they're actually going to come out and probably be thankful that they both had that issue because both of them are going to come out in close proximity. Still got cars making laps. Going around them is looks like Stedman and Altena. Tucker. Meadows is now your leader. He's still all by himself. He hasn't stopped yet. Salvazzi has not stopped yet. Christensen has not stopped yet. They're going 29 laps.
If they can make it to lap 30, or like finish lap 30 here, which it looks like they're going to, they may be able to cut a stop off of this.
Yeah.
Because
Meadows coming to pit road right now. Christensen coming to pit road right now. Salvazzi coming to pit road right now. So they will come to... Oh, goodness. Get in line. Don't get your penalty.
Oh, no.
Good, Christensen. Oh, well, he keeps his momentum, spins it around. Don't know if he'll have a penalty for doing that on pit road, but
no,
I think
he did not speed. That's not a penalty.
That's
Leaving into the grass is not a penalty.
That's going to cost him a little time, though. But Meadows and Salvazzi, they have hit their stalls and their spots dead on, and they're going to come out with one another. Unfortunately, Christensen's not going to have a dancing partner, at least not yet. We'll see how this all shakes out. Tucker is by himself, and he might pick up the lead here. Tucker, Steadman, Altena, your top three coming off pit road. I think Meadows, nope. And Steadman and Silvazzi fall back. So Tucker is going to pick up the lead here. Tucker on pit road, 26.9 seconds in the box, 8.2. One of the faster stops. Actually, I think he was the fastest stop. The actually fastest stop was Silvazzi, 8.1 in the box. But he was Josh Tucker. I mean, we're talking tenths here now on a super speedway. Here comes Steadman. So we have a 3-car breakaway now up front. And these guys will be looking to pit here probably now in the next 20 laps or so.
Yeah, Meadows, I think, is the only car still within striking distance, him and Silvazzi, that went far enough on fuel on the first lap.
And Meadows is not that far out of the way of this lead group.
Well, right now he's leading in front of a 2-car tandem, and that's really bad for fuel economy. And it looks like Christensen and John Ha are going to work together. So if Christensen can... Go ahead.
I'm not sure who. A car bounced off the wall. O'Sullivan?
Yes.
Let's go back and look at that really quick momentarily.
Looks like he just arrow pushed into the safer barrier, but I don't think he's any worse for wear.
Yeah, he did. He caught it. Gets below the yellow line and then gets right back up. So he might have just scrubbed off some speed. Gave Seb Kinder a bit of a scare there. He's like, you see Kinder kind of abruptly move up a little bit to give him room. But there we go. That's the incident that we just had. Oh,
another one.
Oh!
Is that forward?
DeCicco! Oh, DeCicco in the wall! No caution.
He's lost his right front tire.
No caution.
What a shame. He'd been running up front all day.
Yeah, I know. He was in a position for really a good finish, possibly even looking at the win. He's following the guy that went longest on that first stop. So the guy in front of him, if he was able to, interesting, bit of a slide coming off the corner, might have damaged himself. So he better have a bit arrow push. One of the Ryder Sports cars gives himself a evasive move, scares Bonnie. Bonnie goes up, hits DeCicco again, almost gets another Ryder eSports car. And I would say day done for DeCicco, unfortunately.
Now we have 2 competing lead packs, one of 3 cars, one of 4 cars, and one of 2 cars in that order. So 3 in the lead, 4 running 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, and then 2 running 9th and 10th. But if I look at the lap times, it looks like the group of 3 in the front have been the fastest. They are working together. The group of 4 are staying in a straight line, and the group of 2 will catch the group of 4 because of that.
Okay, so that's Kinder and O'Sullivan in that second group of 2.
The third group.
The second group is led by Bonnie, Weber, Meadows, and Silvazzi. So Meadows wisely gets back into a place where he fell back a little bit, so he could get into a group and try to work on that mileage. He's right now looking at probably one of the few cars right now that might be able to do this on one less stop.
Yeah, it's him and Silvazzi, and they're nose to tail. And I think Silvazzi has a better chance because he hasn't led at all. He's always been tucked up behind someone's bumper the entire run. Not that you have a bumper, an attenuator.
So let's go back in the Wayback Machine here and talk about IndyCar's one and only visit to the Daytona International Speedway. Yes, there has been an official IndyCar race here. It was on the oval, and it was a lot longer ago than you think about. USAC opened their 1959 season here in Daytona. The pole was won by Dick Rathman with a speed of 173.210 miles per hour and a Curtis-designed Offie-powered roadster. Okay, let me say that speed again. Okay, this is 1959. We're not remotely close to this speed at all at Indianapolis. 173.210 miles per hour in an open cockpit, probably with the basic of type of helmet, no real face protection, roadster.
Single lap seatbelt, probably.
I mean, we're talking real men driving these things here. 173 on skinny tires, probably. 173.210 miles per hour. The race was won by Jim Rathman, Dick's brother, who led 35 of the 40 laps. Three-time Indy 500 winner Roger Ward finished second. This up-and-coming driver by the name of A.J. Foyt, in his second USAC season, finished eighth. Also in the lineup, you had former Indy 500 starters Tony Bettenhausen, former Indy 500 winners Eddie Sachs and Pat Flattery, and another another driver by the name of Elmer George. Like, George, why does that name sound familiar? Because that is Tony George's dad. That is Ed Carpenter's step-grandfather. He was in the lineup. Of course, George married into the Holman family. Trouble in the backstretch. Bonnie is in the inside wall. That should be clear. And let's go back and take a look at what happened. Monty just arrow washes up into the wall. Bam. And how he missed everybody and everybody missed him. He almost caught it. Almost caught it. And then it finally just comes around on him. Oh, that's too bad. And that's why they put that extra tarmac there, to try to slow those cars down before hitting the wall, but he wasn't able to quite do that. So we've watched now two cars get taken out by arrow wash here. So it's just not as simple as turning left and following the car. You gotta steer the thing.
Steer the thing and feather out of the throttle without inducing liftoff oversteer, right? Because if you just snap off the throttle, the rear of the car gets very uncomfortable.
Yes. Yep, for sure. So let's reset the field here. It's Tucker, Stedman, and Altena are your three in the lead pack on lap 42 of 90. So we're quickly coming to the halfway point. No caution laps yet, but we have seen a number of incidents. Our drivers have been able to get off course before the caution's coming out. We have a second group that's led by Weber. O'Sullivan looking for a bit of a swap draft here. They need to do this in order to run down the leaders. Cody Meadows, now this is the driver we want to watch for the remainder of the race. He might be able to finish this race on one less stop as everyone, as he got to lap 30. Right with him is Salvazzi. Salvazzi is also in that category, and Seb Kinder was pretty close to that category as well. So watch these three cars as this race progresses. Your leaders, as they are doing some swap drafting, trying to pull away from the guys behind them. As you see, the track temp is 125 degrees, so it is slippery out there. These guys up front, Tucker 28, lap 28, Stedman lap 26, and Julian lap 28. That's when they pitted last. So we are looking very, very soon for these guys to probably hit pit road again. Yeah, we're looking probably within the next 12 laps or so for these guys, possibly. Julian, scooting out to the top. I think he's trying to let Stedman go.
Yeah, they were all communicating over the radio to try to coordinate that.
All right.
So it was planned.
So unfortunately, during the finish of that 59 race, three-time USAC Champ Car race winner George Amick was killed in a very fiery wreck. And now the lead up to that wreck, the drivers were very skeptical of the racetrack. You could clearly tell it was the speeds exceeded really the safety limits of those cars at the time. They were kind of in rarefied air in terms of what being at a racetrack this new and this, let's put it this way, technologically more advanced than the Indianapolis Motor Speedway at the time. They were very scared about going to a second race. Now, USAC committed to a second race that season. In fact, it was supposed to be held over July 4th weekend. After the 59 opener and the driver said, we're not going to go back there ever again, USAC stewards had to come back to Papa France and say, Papa France, we're not going to come back for our July 4th race, even though you've sold tickets and you've also started promoting the event. So what did Papa France do? he went ahead and continued selling tickets and changed the event from an IndyCar race to a NASCAR race. And that is how you get the Firecracker 400. And now you know the rest of the story.
Gary, I learned something new with you every week. Thank you for being a racing encyclopedia.
Look at these cars. They are super twitchy. Let's do a lap with one of these guys. It'll be real cool to ride along. Let's ride along with Cody Meadows. Let's ride on that roll bar. There he is. I don't even think he's 100% throttle.
He's absolutely not. He is saving fuel to try to get to lap 60 or 61, perhaps. And these guys being side by side in front of him helps him. It punches a bigger hole in the air.
You listen to him. He sucked right up to the back end of Weber and then rolled out of it. Look at these cars dance. These are not stable cars at all. So he will pull right up to the 12, to the back end of O'Sullivan, excuse me. As Weber gets in front. They're trying to reduce that 2.7 second deficit to that lead pack. Meanwhile, the lead pack is trying to pull away. Here, Cody rolls out of it, saving a lot of fuel doing that. And saving
way
probably,
more than I could.
Yeah, and let's watch Savazzi. He's probably saving more fuel. Here's Savazzi. We got Jesper Orman in there. No way I'm getting into that roadster. You weren't the only one. You weren't the only one. There were a number of drivers that showed up to that race that was going to try to qualify, and they're like, no, I'm not going to do it. One of them had the last name of Sed. And you're like, hey, I think I've heard of it. Well, it's Boris Sed's dad. Oh! Meadows clips the apron.
Meadows. And Salvazzi doesn't want to
clips
pass him.
the same too.
It's
so now
because Salvazzi didn't want to pass. He wanted to sit behind and save fuel, so he kept lifting. Now this second group is going to have no shot at catching the leaders, broken up like this. Well, we still have a lot of racing to go. We have 40 laps to go. It's entirely possible that they get swapping, but Meadows isn't going to do it. Neither is Salvazzi. So you have Kinder there stuck between them, and I would not be surprised if Meadows just kind of pulls over and lets Kinder around so he can continue to be stuck. Whoa, 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 more trouble.
That's O'Sullivan.
O'Sullivan.
Did he smack the wall?
No, I think he just got out of shape.
Oh, yeah, he did. And I think these tires are actually getting, the tire wear is actually what's causing this. As he power slides it, he's lucky the banking was there. It really helped him catch everything. That brings him back to that third group, which unfortunately now Weber has lost his dance partner.
Yeah, O'Sullivan did an incredible job not overcorrecting that car. He let the car go where it wanted to go, kind of like on a motorcycle when you have a death wobble. And he's throwing in the white flag. He's getting new tires here. He's taking his second stop of the day.
Okay, so that is O'Sullivan.
Correct.
And he last pitted on 28, so he's right in that neighborhood. A little early.
Yeah, he's in the window for the 3-stop strategy.
But he doesn't have a dance partner, though.
With the way the field is spread out, he may come out near someone. And he will be able to work with them, hopefully, until the people in the group he was working with, Meadows, Salvazzi, and Kinder.
Well, there we go. Let's watch out the back of his car here. Here comes... Actually, this is the leaders.
Yeah, he's going to tack on right behind Altena, I believe. Oh, he may not be going fast enough. Tucker is in this lap.
He's going to get a little bit of that draft, but not a lot of it. Watch how Tucker peels off here. He's going to take Stedman with him. Now Julian out there by himself.
If you notice, Tucker went all the way to the inside wall to give Stedman all the extra racetrack to slow down. That's a courtesy move from the leader, just in case you lock up your brakes or want to be as close as possible to your dance partner when you're both pitting at the same time.
Yeah, that's thinking ahead, just in case the guy locks him up. He's not going to pile into the back end of you.
Now, the last thing you want to do when you make that move is lock your brakes up yourself, and then you plow into the guy on your outside.
Right.
That's a rookie mistake I've seen
But
before.
Stedman and Tucker both come out together, so they will still have be able to dance with each other. Although Tucker is kind of pulling away from him here on the pit access road. I think Stedman hasn't driven these cars as much in the last couple of weeks. Probably still coming up to at least getting to reacquaint himself with the touch of the car there. But Tucker's going to pull out and have himself a little bit of a buffer over Stedman. He might drag the brake a little bit and wait for him, but he can't wait too long.
Weber is coming in this lap, and that is the person Meadows is drafting off of. So this is where Weber needs to make a decision. Is he going to let Kinder by? Silvazzi's content being the last car in this 4-car train, because obviously he doesn't want to burn any fuel. Yeah, and Meadows does exactly that. He lets Kinder in by on the low side. And he and Silvazzi are just competing to burn the
Meadows' car was just floating up and down. I think he was trying to hold the line and kind of got into a violent little bit of a wobble there. But now they're behind Kinder. Now Julian has managed to save some fuel. He is now 29 laps into his current stint. He only went 27 on his first stint. So he's trying to go long. Silvazzi now by himself.
He's putting in this lap, so he did save some, but not enough.
So here he comes really quick off the banking. It's probably how he got into that third spot in the leader's very aggressive pit in. Silvazzi now leading this second group. So this second group is really waiting, trying to go another 3 more laps. And all 3 of these were in the same neighborhood. Seb Kinder had to go a lap early than everyone else, but everyone else went within a lap of one another in this group.
And Strauss might just be their saving grace, as he's at full bore ripping past them. He'll punch a hole in the air for them to follow. Getting his lap back there. That was music to Silvazzi's ears right there. Hearing that engine roar by him. And then it looks like Weber and O'Sullivan are going to link up here. They're not too far from one another. But of the cars that have pit, I think Josh Tucker is going to be first among them once it all cycles through.
Let's take a look here. Yes, it probably will be Tucker. Tucker's all by himself.
Yeah, Altena is tracking him down with Stedman, but he's got a second and a half.
They'll get that. Stedman and I think Julian are savvy enough that they'll be able to run down Tucker. I think Tucker will just do his best.
Silvazzi's met his number.
Yep.
He made it to 60. Meadows did not. Meadows made it to 59.
And he's coming off pit road, so Silvazzi hit the number.
Oh, but he slides through pit road entry.
Now did he speed? Did he speed?
I was watching him. Let me go back. I will check. He got to the cone at 70 and then went down to 50. Before the first timing segment ended, I think he will not be penalized. I think Silvazzi will be able to make the number without a penalty here.
down and away, and this could be his last stop.
All he needs to do is find a dance partner to run the majority of this.
Easier said than done. now with this field thinning out.
And with him sliding through pit road entry, he's not going to come out with Meadows.
Oh, he might come out with these guys. Yeah, it's going to be close with those two.
Far too slow. Far too slow. If I were him, I would slow down and let Kinder catch me. So even though he slid through pit road, he was much faster than Kinder through the pit cycle.
Yeah, Silvazzi 26.4 on pit road, 8.5 in the box. The fastest pit stop of that round was Weber with an 8.1 second pit stop.
And that's probably what got him the lead.
Tucker on pit road for that stint. On the pit road, 27.1. In the box, 8.3. Stedman and Altena are running him down.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Tucker got the lead, not Weber.
Yeah.
I apologize.
No worries. So it looks like it's a 1.4 seconds to Tucker from Stedman. Now 1.3. So they're running him down. They'll probably catch him in a couple of laps.
Then you've got teammates, O'Sullivan and Weber, running 4th and 5th. And
Yeah,
they seem to be very well coordinated.
They might, they're 2.5 back from Stedman and Altena, and they are not really gaining.
I think they are. They're running 38 ones lap after
All right,
lap.
let's see here.
Altena's running 38 threes.
All right. Math says they're gaining. I'm not watching them tick down though. They're right at 2.5. Now they're about 2.5 flat. Now they're under 2.4. So now they're gaining.
But none of it's going to matter. Let me see where Salvazzi is right behind Kinder, saving gas, running 3/4 throttle. I think Salvazzi's going to steal this on fuel mileage.
That wouldn't be the first time we've had a race here stolen on fuel mileage. Christopher Kresge, yes, the old admin of the RIL, won the fuel mileage race here for his one and only VOR win. I was in that race. Along with others, we had a pretty big lineup for that race, if I remember right. We had like 25, 28 cars. In fact, we even had bumping, I think. That's how many we had for this one.
Not bump drafting, like bump.
No, not bump drafting, but we actually had bump qualifying, yes. And if I remember Watson from Team Watson Racing Setups fame, he DNQ'd. He couldn't qualify, and it was just that close. And there's some qualification tricks you can do. You know what I'm talking about when you're in the IR18 to make yourself a little bit faster on these plate tracks on qualifying. And that's kind of what it boiled down to with us. I went ahead and started from pit road along with just about half my team. And there's a car in pit road.
Altena. He's cutting short this final run to short fill, probably fuel only.
We'll watch him. We'll watch him if he gets us to his spot here. He slides a little bit, but he gets it in there.
I wonder if he had some sort of analysis going on saying that if he came in for fuel now, he'd catch someone.
Well, he opted for no tires. And he's down and away. And in that race, I started from pit road, but I had another problem that I was going to start from pit road anyways. But when the session changed from qualifying to race, my iRacing locked up. So I had to clear out of iRacing, reset everything, get back in, and by the time I got back in, like 3 or 4 laps were already done. So I just was out there all race long, turning laps pretty much by myself until the end when everyone else was fuel saving, and I was the only one that didn't have to fuel save. So I'm drafting and passing people left and right because I'm 100% throttle because I don't need to be anything less. And I finished well down the order, kind of disappointing because I thought I would have had a good shot and a good car for that race. But Yeah, it was loading in that, but it just locked up between the sessions, which it does every now and then. It hasn't done it for me in a long time, but I know I haven't been the only one to get bit by that. And unfortunately, I lost my chance to kind of participate in that race. But it was caution-free. I'm not going to say it was incident-free. There was an incident. I think Julian actually got taken out in an incident in that race, as a matter of fact, but did not bring out the caution. And so we went caution-free the entire time. Christopher Kresge got his lone and only VOR IndyCar Series win there that day. It was a fun race. It was a fun race. And it also proved in a couple weeks' time, we did a caution-free race here at Daytona. And a lot of the same guys a few weeks later went to the RIL's race at iRacing Super Speedway and did another 75 laps there of caution-free racing. So two big plate tracks, two big draft pack racing tracks between the RIL and the VOR IndyCar leagues. Did 175 laps of caution-free racing on those tracks.
That's incredible. You love it when you can see people log on and have a clean and green race like we're having today. I mean, again, we've had incidents, right? But nothing that's taken out anyone but the perpetrator themselves, and no over-aggressive driving.
If you're just joining us, welcome. This is RaceVerse coverage of the VOR IndyCar DW12 ICONIC Series coming to you from, that's right, you are seeing it right, IndyCars at Daytona. We've completed 70 of 90 laps. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next race. The next race, as a matter of fact, we'll bring that up here in a moment for you. But we are getting to the closing stages here. We had here our final stops for Weber and O'Sullivan.
They both got on cleanly. Let's see if they can get into their box without.
And Bill Colley was there too, and Bill Colley might be able to help these guys get off of pit road a little bit faster because he'll be done just about when they're coming out. So they might have a bit of a three-car cooperation going on here. Bill Colley back in 14th, making his final stop. Oh, Bill!
So yeah, Weber was in and out cleanly, but it looks like O'Sullivan slid into his box.
Oh no! So guess what? Colley might play a role because Weber might need his help.
It may be moot. Altena will have more than a straightaway on these as he drafts with.
Here comes Tucker. Tucker slides through, but I think he gets to his marks. He's making his final stop.
So where he comes out in relation to Altena will probably be the race for second, if Silvazzi can make it on fuel. And he is coming into turn one now, and here comes Altena, barreling down the front stretch at full speed. This will be the fight for second or first, depending on if Silvazzi can stretch the fuel. I don't know if Tucker's fast enough. I think he needed 0.2 more. It's so frustrating to miss a draft by that little after all the race. I think Altena pit early because I think he knew that he would catch Dan Ench and then they could swap. I think that's what happened.
Well, if that's the case, that is pretty great planning. And so you got two teammates. There is no such thing as illegal team orders in VOR. And Inch, even though he's back in 7th, he is working with his teammate Altena, who's in 8th. So this is a battle for position. So there's not a lap down guy here helping out or getting in the way. No, this is a battle for position. But these guys could steam through as cars in front of them have to pit. Also in front of them is John Haas by himself. Haas is in 6th. His last stop was at 54, so he's 20 laps into his current stint. He will have to stop one more time. Meadows can't get any closer to the back end of Christensen. He is trying like mad to possibly get back on that schedule. He had to pit a lap earlier than he wanted to last time. Can he make it home? He is done. He pitted right at 60, so can he go the 30 that he's done before? That would bring him home. Christensen, he's going to have to probably stop one more time. And that is the bullpen calling. Okay. No, the right-hander cannot warm up. Anyways, Christensen's going to have to stop one more time. Unless he gets behind Meadows and can maybe cooperate, but I don't think Meadows will be willing to lead that group. What they need to do is kind of run down who's ever in front of them, which is Kinder and Salvazzi. These are the two that we think are good to go to the end. Salvazzi clips the apron bad, Salvazzi. And they're running them down. They're running them down.
I think Kinder cannot make it, but Salvazzi can. Kinder is going very slowly right now to try to make it, and if they continue at this pace, I think Altena will catch them all.
Well, here they come. They're all together now. Kinder last lap, 226 flat. I mean, keep in mind, these cars were doing 230, 232, 233s, so that is kind of really, now 221 that time by for Kinder. So he is really trying to featherfoot it. Meantime, Christensen's like, you know what? I'm going to get some TV time. Screw it. I got nothing to lose. Let's go. So Seb Kinder now is going to be punching a hole in the air for Salvazzi and now Meadows. And so maybe Meadows and Salvazzi are back on strategy. Maybe Meadows is back on strategy. So we'll see. These are the two cars we think that can make it to the end possibly. Kinder, it remains to be seen. It's going to be close. Christensen, there's a stop. So he is done. He is going to make his stop, and this is his final stop right here. So now we just roll over and watch these last three and see what happens. Seb Kinder, 225.4, so he's still trying to save. And Salvazzi, for that matter, I think he's still trying to save. His last lap, 225.3. Meadows, 225.9.
Something to note, Gary. Altena is now working with Tucker, who they've connected because Dan Ench made a pit stop. So they will be racing for perhaps the win or the final podium position between themselves, depending on what these fuel savers can manage out of their economy and their speed.
Now, John Haw is in fourth, but he's a long ways behind the top three. But he's turning 230 mile per hour laps, so the guys in front of him are turning 219, 220s. So they're exiting in the middle of the backstretch now. He is
in the middle of 1 and 2.
1 and 2. So he's going to slowly start chipping away that Julian and his dancing partner Tucker. They're going to be quickly catching Ha, but also involved in the middle of this as Ench, who had some issue on pit road and is now down a lap. Did not see what that issue was. Okay, here's Ha. He is coming to pit road for his final stop. So he's pitting on lap 80. He went 25 laps on this current stint. I think he actually will be 26 when he crosses the line. So now back up to this top three that are feathering. I mean, Kinder that time by 216.9. I think you're right. I think Altena and Tucker. Let's instead of bringing up speeds, let's check their gap to these guys. So Tucker and Altena 11 seconds behind.
That's a second a lap. They're gonna make that up.
Seconds, 10.6, 10.5 now.
It's going to be very close, and that's if they make it on fuel. It's possible that Silvazzi... Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
And Dan Ench is also going to be running this group down. John Ha probably going to be running this group down. They're running at 100% throttle.
Yeah, but for Dan, it's just to get back on the tail end of the
Well, yeah,
lap.
true, but they're going to catch it, and then they won't be able to really do anything. Either they'll pass them, or get the other cars will get behind them, go to 100% throttle, and let these guys break the air. And then all the while, we might also have Julian and Tucker also join. So we'll have like a 7-car, bit of a 7-car pack with only 5 of the cars on the lead lap with a chance for the win.
I really don't think that's the case. When Christensen powered past them earlier, Kinder and Silvazzi could not hold on to his coattail. They just could not put enough throttle down to even be behind him in the draft while he was full throttle, because they're trying to hit their number. If Silvazzi, I think Silvazzi has the most in the tank. He went the furthest and has been behind someone this entire run. He's the only car, I think, that when he gets to his number, he'll hammer down. I think anyone else is going to be limping to the finish.
Well, Jesper says in chat that Tucker's got him. Of course, they're teammates at IAR, so it's okay to be biased. Julian with the purple lap that time, or not that time by, but in the period of this run, 37.7. That will calculate out to be at 236.212.
Yeah, Tucker and Altena have now caught the group of Ench and John Ha, and that will help them leapfrog just a couple extra tenths up to the leaders.
And let's get that gap back up there. Gap to the leaders. They are, that was 10 seconds not too long ago. It is now 4 seconds.
They are gaining rapidly.
Let's try to get a, do I have an, yes. Here's a spectator view of what it looks like. There it is. Silvazzi, Meadows is either given up or he is last time by 222.2, and here they come. They've worked their way around Ha and Inch. Inch might tack on to the back side of this, and they will be right there. They will be right with Meadows, and they're going to go right around him. 5 to go now.
Yeah, the full throttle duo of Tucker and Altena now passing on the outside of the lead.
Yep, and that's it.
Silvazzi has given up on Kinder. He's going to tack onto the front two to try to squeeze it to the end and podium. He might even be able to fight for the lead. I think he saved enough, Gary. He can fight with these guys here these last 4 laps.
Well, I think Kinder's picked it up too. We'll see what his lap time is this time by. Last time 2:21 through 2:27.7, so he is back on it. So now we have a race for the lead between these 4: Tucker, Altena, Silvazzi, and Kinder. And give you a report. Tucker's 15 laps on his current stint. He's good to go. Julian, 21 laps on his current stint. He's good to go. Silvazzi, 26 laps on the current stint. 4 laps to go. That's going to be close. Kinder, 27 laps on his current stint. 4 laps to go. It will also be close.
I don't think.
And that's it for Kinder. He has to throw in the towel. So close. So now it's down to a 3-man race.
And that's if Silvazzi can make it. And if he doesn't, who gets the podium?
And here comes Dave Stedman. He's very quietly worked his way into 4th, and he is losing ground now to the group in front of him. He does not have a dance partner, but if he keeps it where he is clear in front and behind him for a little bit. So if something big happens in front of him, he can maybe capitalize on it. We'll see. Here we go, coming to 2 to go. The World Center of Speed, if you're just joining us, we're in the closing stages here of the VOR ICONIC Series at Daytona, where Josh Tucker leads with 2 to go. Make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next race. And that next race is going to be DW12s on Sunday at Kentucky. And the Dark Horse DW12 Series, don't miss it, 8 p.m. Eastern. 2 laps to go. Who's going to make the move? Silvazzi wants to, but I don't think he might not have any help to get him there.
I think when Altena pulls out or tries to lag back to make a slingshot here on the final lap, Silvazzi will go with him and try to split 3 wide.
Yep.
Altena's dropping back. He's going to build a run here.
Here it is. Here it
Silvazzi.
is. Onto the outside. Oh, we're going to stick it 3 wide. Julian with the nose on turn 3. So Ozzy's thinking about still taking it wide. We're side by side.
They're three wide.
We're three wide. Careful, boys. Oh, Savazzi hits the wall. He kisses it. Coming to the line. It is Tucker. .038 is what timing and scoring corrected it to.
What a fight from Patrick Salvazzi. He gave it all he had. Fumes in the tank. Blisters on the steering wheel.
And skin on the tires.
So close to making it uncontested as well. If he had had a dance partner with more gas in the tank, like if he had found Dan Ench earlier in the race just by himself on the track, maybe he could have built more of a time gap, but he was saving with other savers, which bled too much time for Josh Tucker to capitalize. Well done by him and Eltena to come home first and second.
Let's get some replays queued up here so we can get people into the interview room and talk to them, and then we'll also get our final standings here as Tucker is going to do some donuts at the Tri-Oval.
And who would have guessed? 0 flags under caution.
I love it.
Sorry, 0 laps under
I
caution.
love it.
It's amazing.
All right, let's bring up the maestro, please. Here is our final standings for today. Josh Tucker with the win. He up 10 spots, did a 3-stopper, led 40 laps. Julian also up there as well, improved 5 spots, 3-stopper, led 4 laps. Silvazzi finished 3rd. He was the lead of the lead car of the 2-stoppers, as you see there. Made 6 spots, led 4 laps. Dave Stedman led the much of the opening stint and finished basically where he started. But he also participated in the 3-stop as well. Liam O'Sullivan, one of the other cars on the 2-stopper, lost a couple spots from where he started, led 2 laps. Strauss finishes 6th, led 2 laps. Christensen led a lap, finishes 7th. Kinder led 12 laps, but wasn't able to quite make the fuel mileage work for him. Finished 8th. Dan Inch 9th. John Ha on his first start in the series, a top 10, very good. Finishes 10th. Cody Meadows, we looked for the longest time, looked like he was going to be one of the cars to watch, and then just he wasn't able to get the mileage. Had to end up doing a 3-stopper, finishes 11th. Pagero 12th, Colley 13th, Vever 14th, Boney 15th, Dolshinko 16th, and unfortunately, Leighton Furnace, Layson with some connection issues, and it happens. We've all been there. Comes in 17th. He'll get credit for 17th, and he'll get those points, but unfortunately just wasn't able to turn any laps, which sometimes isn't fair for a lot of folks, but it happens to all of us, I think.